I just hope that this can be encouraging to you to like know that you're not alone and know that there's still hope. And even if like you're going through a situation that you don't have kids and it's very difficult to see a path forward and like question if you're ever going to have kids, I think that it's opened up this world to me. There's always hope. I think about it, it's like kind of a weird thought. Maybe this is like insensitive, but it is this like, it's hard to picture our life now without Josiah. Like that's very difficult for me to like, you know, now I'm gonna cry. It's difficult to like picture where we would be without him and how much I'm obsessed and love him. You know, that's just, I can't think about it. He would not be here if it wasn't for everything that happened. And you know, one day we'll get to meet our baby and welcome to Raising Heights. I'm Tori.
I'm Zach.
And yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Here's
again.
Another episode.
Another one. What are we doing? Holy smokes. We just keep on going. We don't stop talking.
Well, this will be the last one. Then we'll take a short week or two break.
Short break. We're not sure how long of a break. It'll be short.
Yeah.
But we've got some traveling coming up.
Yeah.
We've got some life coming up.
Yeah. Short little break.
We haven't said it, but Josiah's having his tonsils out.
Have we not said it?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Lila's surgery was so successful that they're like, let's take Josiah's too.
We'll just keep going. Let's go down the list.
So we're going to take a short break for that because we have to focus on him and make sure he's good and his recovery goes smoothly. And so, yeah, but this is going to be a heavy one. I'm just going to like put it out there. I'm going to do my best not to cry because we all know how Zach does with emotions.
Tori's going to do a lot of talking today. We're going
to talk a little bit about just loss and miscarriage and all the things. So if that's like not something that you want to be a part of, then I'm okay with that. That's valid. But do a quick I start with my pit though, because I'm so mad. Can I like this whole episode's probably gonna be a pit, but my pit just happened to me. Yep. You guys, I was getting ready for this podcast, curling my hair, and I fully burnt my hand. My curling iron turned around on my countertop and I didn't notice. So I went to pick it up, like thinking that the barrel was the handle, and I fully picked my iron up and now my hand it's melted. Look at that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It hurt so bad.
Burns are the worst.
It's just right now too. Come on. Well, I don't know though.
No, a burn can be bad.
It wasn't that bad. Like I want to be dramatic, but like it wasn't. It could have been so much worse. Yeah. I think that my hand was wet when I picked it up, and that's literally the only thing that saved my life.
Right before it's going on a trip and everything too. It's not ideal.
My hand, it hurts pretty bad right now, but I'm gonna try not to like think about that the whole time.
Do you got a peak?
That's yeah. Peak.
Do you got something to recover from that?
Peak. I don't know. I feel like we've said our peak a lot lately. We kind of did these in a row, so it's hard to like find. I'm really liking the weather right now. I know that that's like a really annoying one, but the 70, 80 degree weather is my jam, and I just love sitting outside.
And for everyone on the East Coast right now, we're filming this when you guys are going through the biggest heat wave of your life. So we're sitting over here at 78, 77
so
summer.
Nice.
So that's why we say that. The whole news is covered in heat wave.
Yeah, and Washington is just living life right now.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest is a cool 77.
It's been so nice. I love our summer just sitting on my porch swing and watching our kids play in the like blow up house thing that we bought from Costco. Like it's my life. I love it. It's great.
It's been a great summer so far. It's going to be a bummer when we come back because I feel like we're going to feel like summer's basically over.
Well, we do get to go to Nashville, which I'm very excited. Zach and I are taking a solo trip, no children, to Nashville, and I cannot wait for that.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's going to be we still don't know where we're staying.
We didn't get
We never booked anything, but I'm excited for Nashville. That'll be just like going away, just you and I can't wait.
We can move faster. We don't have to rent a car. We can Uber. We can
Uber.
Just walk if we need to. We can. It's a lot more flexible, which will be nice, and just to chill for a little bit. Yeah,
What's
that's a good peak.
That's like something that we're looking forward to for sure.
I guess I'm saying after that though, it's gonna be like a month left of summer. It's gonna feel like, and then, we're back in the school year. The days are already getting shorter.
Do you think they can hear that right now?
There's some construction.
What is
going
that? On. Our neighbors own a construction company, and it sounds like they're at work right now.
Yeah, they're at work right now.
Construction crew.
I don't think it's being picked up on the mic.
I don't think so either.
My peak and pit. My pit. Pit. I get a little stressed out. I'm a little stressed out before the travel, but it's all good. It'll work out. The travel's actually fun. Travel will be okay. It's a lot of little things come up. So I think I said that last episode.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that the last episode.
Then
the
peak. Just excited to travel. Also, go on the summer. This is the big summer vacation,
right?
With the whole family. This is like the big trip we have planned. So,
kids are so excited.
Yeah, going to Washington D.C. and I've never been. I'm kind of excited for that, and
it'll be fun.
I hope it doesn't fry us though. It's like
90 degrees. No, it's only 89. It was 89.
Okay.
And it's more humid here. So whoever's telling us that it's going to be humid there, it was 41% humidity here today, and it was only 34% humidity there. So.
Interesting.
But I don't know. Is that wait? Is humid? I don't know how that works either. We don't ever have humidity, so we don't know what that means.
For everyone on the East Coast, again, we have 78 summers, no humidity.
And when it's like 90 degrees, what's that reel that they always make fun of? It's a dry heat.
Yeah, it is a dry heat.
It's dry heat, so it's not that bad.
It's a dry
not
heat.
A wet heat. Whatever.
We don't get hurricanes. We don't get tornadoes. We don't get poisonous spiders, snakes, alligators.
We're pretty temperate up here in Washington.
We get some rain, but
we also get some bomb summers.
And winter times green. So anyway, that's my pitch for the Pacific Northwest.
No, actually it sucks. Don't come here.
Yeah.
There's too many people up here.
Housing market's already jacked up.
Anyway.
All right. Yeah, how do you want to get into this?
Okay. So I don't know. I felt like, and this is kind of a depressing way to end this spiel of episodes, but I do feel like it's an important topic to talk about. And it's not one that I've really talked about widely. I think that I think that this affects me a lot more than it does with Zachary, but we thought it would be interesting and just encouraging, hopefully, to share about our experience with miscarriage and having, just what we went through, specifically me, because I think I went through a lot more than you did. But I don't know. I think it's important. I feel like the more that social media becomes prominent in our lives and everyone has it and everyone is constantly, on social media, the more I've realized how common it is to experience miscarriage. And I hope myself sharing my perspective and story will help women not feel alone, but then also hopefully not give up hope. So yeah.
It was. I don't have many memories of that whole moment.
It feels like it happened very quickly. We decided, okay, let's go for number 3. We had Jackson and Lila, and we were like, let's go for number 3. And I think it only took us a month to get pregnant. We got pregnant right away, and it was just, my first 2 pregnancies were so easy. And so I don't think it was even on our radar that anything was wrong. Right?
Yeah.
It just happened so quickly. And I think
What week were you?
I went in for my 8-week ultrasound.
So it was the first ultrasound.
And I think that in hindsight, I remember, and I don't want to scare anyone with this, but I do remember feeling wow, this pregnancy is really easy compared to my other ones. My other ones in the very first couple of weeks, it was I never got sick, I never threw up, but I always just felt gross, off, not myself. And I remember thinking gosh, this one's really easy. This one's going really well. And then, going in for our 8-week appointment, which is your first appointment to make sure that there's a heartbeat and everything, I just don't think I even had it on my radar that something was wrong. And it wasn't until, the woman who was our ultrasound tech had asked me to go use the restroom and then come back, which had never happened before. Like none of my other pregnancies, they had any issues finding the baby. There was like nothing there, right?
Got it.
And this particular time she's like, well, I don't see anything, but go to the bathroom and come back and we'll do the other, like where they go like up in you ultrasound. I don't know what that one's called, but not on the stomach. And you know, that's when, and it's hard because an ultrasound tech can't tell you, like an ultrasound tech can't say there's no heartbeat, there's no, like, their hands are tied. They aren't necessarily supposed to say that, but I'm so grateful for the woman that was there, that was a part of that whole scenario, because she didn't like, she gave me something, you know, she was like, I'm going to let the doctor tell you, but I don't see a heartbeat. And I just remember her like taking my hand, because I just immediately started crying and just got like, it was just a very like, I remember being like really foggy and really like, this isn't happening. This isn't real. Like there's no way that this is happening to me. I hear it happen to all these other people, but it's not happening to me. But she took my hand and she said, you know, like she knew that we were believers, and she took my hand and she said, you know, I'm a daughter of Christ, and I know that there's a purpose for this. And, you know, like she didn't leave me hanging. Yeah. I think that happens a lot. Cold. She wasn't, she was very loving, and she was very like, very empathetic, and just like, you can just tell that she's done that before. Unfortunately, like that's not the first time it's happened. She's had that conversation. But I think that it was a huge mind shift for me, because every time going to those appointments, like going to my OB appointments, going to my ultrasound appointments, it was always such like a fun experience. Like it was always so much joy and so excited. I get to see my baby. I get to get all these cute pictures. I get to hear the heartbeat. Like I get to do all of these really fun things. And it was on that day that like everything shifted in my brain about what that clinic is, you know, and what that clinic can be. Yeah. And that was really hard. That was hard. Like, I don't know. It was hard. I think I had this rush of emotion for other women, and like so much empathy and sympathy for other women who have been in my same situation. And I like can remember just telling my OB and like the ultrasound tech, I just remember telling her like, I never thought about this part of your job. Like I never thought that this was part of your.
Yeah, you thought it was all babies.
And cuteness. I just thought it was all cuteness. Yeah. You know, I was so ignorant to all of it. Naive. I was very like, I was in the dark about it, because to me it was always happy. It was always fun. It was always exciting.
Well, you were a high risk pregnancy too, so you got extra ultrasounds.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was high risk, but yeah, I got extra. They were tracking our kids, so I got more than all my girlfriends. Yeah, like
you got more visits than all your girlfriends.
Yeah, and so I think that was like a huge mind shift, and I can just, I don't know. It was very difficult, and then, you know, I can remember just being so mad at my body after that. Like I remember going through, I like calling my mom and just like getting so mad because I had what was called a missed miscarriage, meaning like my body didn't recognize that our baby had passed on. And so I was then left with the decision.
This part's tough.
I was then left with the decision to like, how do you want to move forward? Because it had already been 3 weeks since supposedly like that was like where the growth had stopped. And so it had already had this so much time pass, and we were kind of faced with this decision of like, you can let your body naturally do it, but it probably won't happen until the second semester, which was another 4 weeks from when we were in that room, you know, and then at that point you can also risk infection, and you can risk a lot of other things. And we really wanted to have another baby. And that was a really, like, I just remember being mad at my body and being like, why can't we, like, I'm already so distraught over what's going on. Why do I have to be the one to make the decision of like how to move forward? And
do you want to, or maybe spell that out? Like, what do you mean? Like your body can either take care of itself. Yeah. Or you can go in and.
Or you can like go in and have like surgically have things like moved along for you. And I think I heard it on I don't remember if it was a post or like an episode of something, but Jessa Seawald, she had put it like she miscarried after me, but she had put a situation that she was in such words that really made me like kind of process what I was feeling in that moment. And she kind of went on this like, you know, a DNC, which I don't know what that stands for. I'd have to look it up. I forget, like dilation and something. But a DNC is very different than an abortion.
Oh, yeah.
It's very different, but it was hard for me not to separate the two.
Got it.
And that's why I think I was so mad, because like the things that they give you to either do it at home or to go into the hospital are the same. It's the same process.
Considered similar, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why I think I was so mad at my body, because I was like, this is not something I want to be making a decision on right now. But it wasn't until I think she had really pointed it out. Like, I think she was like, this is very black and white. This is different. Like, you know, I can remember being in the hospital room, because we did decide to surgically have it, like, have everything removed.
Because of the potential risk of it causing infection later on, 2 weeks later, or second semester.
And just saving I was already so traumatized by the situation, and doing it at home sounded even more traumatizing. You know, and unfortunately I've had girlfriends who have gone through the same thing, and just like talking to them and hearing their experiences, I just was terrified. And so I went that route. But even being in that room, it was so, it was just really difficult. Like, all the doctors, they really want to make sure that you're there on your own will. Like, everyone who comes in, they ask you, why are you here? And I could just remember like not even being able to say it. Like, every time I would just start crying.
Yeah, you don't need to say it. You're like, you know why I'm here.
But like, I'm sure that they want to make sure that I'm not being forced, or like someone's not there. Like,
but that's tough. Like,
but it was it was so hard. And I can remember this poor guy. I have really hard veins. Like, I have the most difficult to like get an IV in. It's impossible. And this guy, he poked me like 4 times. And at the end of it, I was just bawling. Like, I can just remember being like, get out of the room. Like, get out, put the freaking needle in somewhere and get out. Because he was like trying to make small talk. And like, it was just the like most somber experience. Bless you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I feel like I wanted to like share about it, just because I had women who went before me that shared, and I felt comforted by those women who had miscarriages or that couldn't get pregnant or anything, that I think helped me get through that whole process, you know?
Yeah.
And so I felt like it was important. And I can remember back when it happened, because we were going to share that week that we were pregnant, but instead having to share that we weren't pregnant.
Yeah, 3 kids, you get kind of excited. You know, like you maybe announce a little earlier.
Oh, yeah. You're like, everything is going to be fine.
Yeah. You get a little bit more excited. You jump ahead a little bit.
Right.
And
And
that's what I remember telling like the TV people, the family. Like,
we told everyone.
Yeah, we got super excited.
Yeah.
And
that was the mistake, I think, that time. Like, I understood then why they tell you to wait after that experience, to wait till you tell people, because we didn't tell people that we were pregnant with Josiah till I was almost halfway done. Like, we kept it a secret for a lot longer, because I didn't want to go through that again, because we told everyone. You know,
the backtrack and like, if I may, we were filming at the time too, and like those, you know, we had to kind of backtrack on camera too, like announce that on, like, say that you gave them one interview that you would talk about this, and that's that, you know. So yes, then with Josiah, it's also, we held information to, so we didn't have to replay that. You know, if they don't know the beginning, there's no use talking about the second part of it. Thank God the second part was Josiah being born. Right. You know, but.
Well, and I can remember you having to like, I feel like it's just now I can sit here sit here and talk about it, because I feel like every time I've talked about it previously, I just get very emotional about it, and I just have a really difficult time talking about it. And so even when we were filming, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to share a ton, because I'm like, I can't process everything in the way that I feel like it should be processed, because I'm so emotional about it. And So sharing it was harder back then, you know.
Totally. Well, sometimes sharing things on camera that's sensitive, like in the form of the reality television, was tough because it has to fit into their storyline or their like a structured episode. They can't show the episode's 32 minutes long, whatever it is. They can't show we're at 30 minutes or 20 minutes. They can't show a 20-minute explanation.
Right.
Which is which we feel is necessary to fully understand your point of view, you know? And so then that's what makes it tough, because you know they're going to pluck stuff, not intentionally necessarily, but like
they won't do it the justice that I felt like it needed. Because it was also like, this is our baby. Like, to me, when you get pregnant, that's a baby, you know? And also, so when we lost that baby, it was like, we just lost a part of our family. It wasn't just like a...
like you said, the abortion thing also, at the time you were very conflicted with that, you know, and to say that, but you know, in this world, like, abortion's okay for people, you know what I'm saying? We're very not okay with that.
Well,
you know?
And I think that's one of the, I wasn't going to go there, but since you've gone there.
Well, I'm just saying, I remember you basically
I think that for me, previous to this situation, previous to like honestly the past 5 years, I was very apolitical. Like, didn't care about politics, didn't really have a huge opinion on things. And when it came to abortion, I think I was very much like, it's not something I would choose for my life. That's not something that I would go forth with, but like, hey, you do you. But I think being in that room and being as traumatized as I was, it became black and white for me in that room. Like, it became this, like, I'm not okay with this. Like, I would never choose to be in this room, and I don't understand how somebody could choose to be in that room when we wanted that baby so much, you know, when we were so excited for that baby. And
abortion's a tough one because a lot of people are, you know, in my mind, this is going to be super controversial, but like it's one of the few things that I feel like yes, you have all these, you know, smaller percentages, you know, women get pregnant, you know, rape and all those things, very terrible, you know, but I feel like sometimes we're distracted by it. The majority of people that get, you know, it's the one thing, if I go out and have beers at the bar and drink and drive and go get in an accident, I'm going to jail. Yeah. You know, it's a consequence I chose. So, and we don't think about this, that the national conversation doesn't talk about this. The choice to have sex. Yeah. That was the choice. And we want to choose, you know, the consequence, the outcome. Yeah. And that's not how that works.
And that's where I struggle to like get on board with any of the like, oh, it's healthcare. It's healthcare. It's like, no. It's
the one thing.
It's you don't want to take responsibility.
Yes. And the choice, it's women's choice, men's choice, whatever. The choice was to have sex. Yeah. After that, you know, so everyone can say whatever. For me, the choice was already the choice was not the abortion or not. The choice was to have
before that.
And then I'm gonna say one dwarfism thing. I don't want to take your episode, okay? Abortion. How many people when we had Jackson, they came in very serious and said, "Hey, you know, Jackson's a dwarf," and we already knew it. We saw it on the ultrasound. Yeah. But that the way they had that conversation. Because for a lot of people, the next conversation could be a whole lot different than what ours was. Totally. We were happy and everything like that. It's that baby's going to have a harder life. I want to terminate it or put it up for adoption. But a lot of people have that. So abortion also, you know, for me, it's in the context of dwarfism. I don't like it at all. And I think that's the start of it. It's people truly, because there's a celebration when like abortion bills pass. If this was about the women that got raped or whatever, there would not be a celebration. Yeah, it's a celebration. You know what I'm saying? There's a deep meaning there. Why are we celebrating something like that? We're celebrating because it's actually an opportunity for everyone to get drunk, go have sex, which is totally cool, but then not have to live with consequences if they choose. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's so we're not even talking about whether it's a live baby or not, or if the fetus at 4 weeks is you know what I'm saying? I'm not even touching that. I think everyone knows where I stand on that. But like, we're talking about, you know, anyway, that's my little spiel on that.
Yeah. I think that like, and that was eye-opening for me being in the situation that we were in, that some women do that electorally, and that was very difficult for me.
Yeah,
Like
you're not
electively, I mean,
yeah.
but that was very difficult because I was not in that mindset whatsoever, and I was, you know, so excited to have a third baby and
I
take that on.
I
And
do appreciate, like, you did go through something very dramatic,
yeah,
and I feel like a lot of people would, like, we're Christians, people would say, like, why would God allow this to happen? And
right.
I remember, tell me if I'm wrong, and maybe you didn't verbalize it, I never remember you going into that space or
No,
questioning that.
no.
You get what I'm saying a little bit?
So I think that that's another big piece I wanted to talk about too, is just like my journey with faith, because I feel like I was always curious about the Christian religion, and I was always curious about like Jesus and God and the Bible and like all of these different things. And I went to church, like Zach and I went to church for years, like our entire date, that would be like date night, is we would go to church. And I really found myself and my relationship with God in those years, but I had never like proclaimed it. And it was like 6 months before this all happened, I got baptized. And I can remember thinking, like, a lot of things happened, like the shutdown, like COVID happened like a week after. That was the last church service that we had before COVID happened, and I had gotten baptized at that service. And I can just remember thinking when all of this happened, how grateful I was that I had that moment, because I feel like it kept me above water. You know, I feel like I could have gone to that space of, why is this happening to me? Like, woe is me. Like, why does God do these things? But instead, I reveled in this, like, well, I'm saved, and my baby, the first face that my baby got to see was Jesus. And as much as I hurt here on earth, and as much as I wanted to be the first person that my baby saw, it was okay, because I know that he or she is with God.
Totally.
And one day we will meet him or her, and it'll be glorious, you know? And I think that that played a big role in how I went through it. I also I have so many friends that came over and sat with me and cried with me and walked with me, and like, and there were so many aspects that got me through it. But I think that, you know, I could have very easily just gone to this very dark place, because it was so traumatic for me, and it was so like, and I can also remember, like when all of it was kind of done, and we were trying to move on, you know, a big part of our life is on social media. And I felt like I couldn't go forward on social media without like acknowledging what had happened. And I felt like that was a really big release, because when we had put out on social media that like we lost baby number 3,
A lot of people come out of the woodwork.
a lot, like, but like not just on the internet, like the amount of people that came out on the internet was unreal, but just in my personal life, like so many women, like old coworkers that I worked with would come to me and be like, I had miscarriage. I've had 4 miscarriages. I've, you know, there's so many people that come out with their stories that you don't feel alone.
Totally.
And I was so grateful that I shared that information, just because then I felt comfort from the women who have gone through the same thing that I went through. And that was helpful. And I think that's part of the reason why I like wanted to share it here, just because I don't think it's talked about a ton. And it's hard. Like, it's hard and like I've said it from the beginning, we had 2 healthy babies. We had Jackson and Lila, and they were also like, I remember our moms coming and being like, do you want us to take your kids? Like, do you want us to take them for the day, and we'll just go do something? And I remember being like, no, like, I want my babies with me. I'm so grateful that they are here. They are healthy. They are happy, all the things. And, you know, I can't imagine what that would feel like for women who don't have families, and that want a family, and that are trying to have kids, but they have gone through miscarriage, or they can't get pregnant, or, you know, any of those scenarios. That's even more difficult.
I would say too, like, on that sort of vein, yeah, a lot of times we pray for like what we want and things like that, and please don't let this person die. You know, a good prayer in those situations also. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm still on. Okay.
Move it closer.
Sorry. A good prayer in those situations also is asking God to help you handle whatever situation, whatever outcome happens. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
A lot of people like, please don't let this person die. The person dies. How can God wasn't listening to me? You know,
right.
It's like,
he didn't hear my prayers.
That's the wrong prayer.
Right.
It's, may God's will be done. You know,
but like help me get through it.
But like, yes, help me whatever the outcome is. What help me learn from it, help me handle it. God doesn't give you something more than you can handle either.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my point to that was you never went into that space, right. You know, and it was help me handle this, help me get through this, not why did you do this to me,
right?
Which I think is a powerful thing.
Yeah, I think that that's so true. I wish I remembered the quote, but it was actually our pastor's wife. Oh, TikTok's on. Oh, okay, wait, I actually wrote it down. It's Isaiah 41. Shoot, is that 12? 41:12. For I hold you by your right hand. And I remember her sending that to me just to like let me know I'm not alone. Like I might feel alone for a minute because it was also hard to like, I know you felt things and I know you went through it, but it wasn't the same as like what I went through. And it could have been isolating, but like that verse was like, God's right here. God is like with me in this moment and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. I think the hardest, it's not about me. Okay. Don't anyone get confused. But the hardest part of that whole scenario was I don't know what you're feeling and I can't take that or I can't carry that burden. And it's honestly people saying, you don't know how she's feeling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, that's
and
not
you're
my
like
fault.
A fixer.
Yeah. And I'm a fixer, but it's also like, I didn't ask to like not be able to feel what she's feeling. Like I would take that burden in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So it's that.
And I can remember
you the hardest.
I remember you asking me like, what do you need? What do you need? And I remember being like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I need. I don't know. Like, I think I need my family right now. And like I had 2 girls from my church group that like, I remember one showed up and was like, let's just go on a walk. Let's go on a walk around your neighborhood. And I was like kind of nervous because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to like talk about this. And like not once did she bring it up on the walk. We just walked and we just like talked about other things. And I remember being like, that was so helpful to just sit and be with other people, you know, like just, and it was just so healing for me to just go and walk, not think about it, not talk about it, not like
totally.
You know.
I think that's brilliant
because I think I'm also like a huge internal processor in that way. Like I don't think I'm not a very like I don't think I'm an emotional person.
No,
I'm
Tori
not.
Tells me
I'm
this all
not
the time.
outwardly emotional. I'm not outwardly like. There's not a lot like. That's why Zach married me. Okay.
Tori tells me all the time, I got lucky. Okay?
Oh, he could have had it so much worse.
There's so much worse.
There's so many girls that are so dramatic, and I'm just not that way. And so I think that for me, I tend to like, and I've never mourned anything before, truly. Like, I've never lost it. I lost my dog when I was like 8 months pregnant. That's the closest I have come to losing a child, you know, like
a dog is not a child.
And a dog is not a child, and it's nothing compared. So even for me, I'm like, I don't know how grief works. Like, I don't know how this like is supposed to go.
I really second guessed things for a minute there. Okay, because you were a dog mom to the core, and I'm like, good heavens, what did I get myself into? Okay, and then the minute she had an actual child, and I'm sorry to all the dogs, quote unquote dog moms and dads out there, it is not the same.
It is not.
Tori was slightly confused on the matter until she actually had Jackson.
Yeah.
And that dog took a backseat so fast it couldn't see straight.
Poor
okay?
Murphy.
And no, it was Sully at the time.
No, we didn't have Sully.
Oh, beg your pardon. It was Murphy. 8 months. Sorry. Anyway, God bless. Okay.
God bless. It's not the same.
I was like, all right, we're gonna make it to the end here.
Yeah.
There's a minute there.
But there, that like it was just I didn't even know how to like grieve because I'm like it's just so different, you know.
Yeah.
And I think now I know I'm just like a very much internal, like let me just watch movies and eat popcorn, and that's like how I'm gonna deal with life in all aspects. And I can also remember, and babe, you're so much better at this than I am.
Tell me.
I should have done the research before I did this, but another thing our pastor did, and that's another huge thing, is when we were going through all of this, like we were really connected to our church. Thank goodness. Like, I don't know, you know. I know, you're so quiet over there. I'm sorry to whoever.
That dial was wrong.
Gosh.
See, now look at it.
Oh my gosh.
I think
You
that
just messed
dial
up
was
this
off,
whole
Tori.
episode.
At 34.
They'll be able to fix
All right.
it. Okay. Anyway, we were really connected with our church. Like, we were very connected with our community and our church.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And that was another, I think it was after everything had happened. Is it Hannah? Who's the one that is not forgotten? The one that like wanted a baby for... Is it Elizabeth?
It was Elizabeth. It was Zechariah. It was John the Baptist, his mom. It was Elizabeth. Yeah.
Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Not Hannah.
Not
so
Hannah.
our pastor gave a sermon on Elizabeth and like how she was not forgotten, and she prayed and prayed and prayed for a baby. And I felt... You're looking at me like that's wrong.
No, I'm thinking hard. I fact checked John Chris. I need to know my Bible
you need
now.
To fact check your wife.
No, I need to fact check myself. I'm pretty sure it was Elizabeth. Zechariah.
It's Zachariah, I'm pretty sure.
It was Zacchaeus. No, Zacchaeus was a different story. Yeah, it was Zechariah.
Either way, it was
Elizabeth.
a sermon on like
Yes.
how you will not be forgotten by the Lord. Because I remember being like, maybe we're not meant to have 3 kids, and maybe, you know, I'm just meant. And I think that I was very regretful in my choices with Lila, because I remember I don't do well in the infant state. That's not my jam. I'm not about the baby. Like, give them to me when they're 2 and I'm gonna roll, right? And I think that when I had Lila, I was kind of like, I know we're gonna have a 3rd because we really want a 3rd, and so like, let's just get through the baby stage.
Yeah.
And I think that I kept on thinking like, oh my gosh, I should have taken more time. I should have sat with Lila more. I should have held her more. Which you have that with all of your kids, no matter what you do in every aspect of your life. But I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like, what if I'm not meant to have 3 kids, and that's not God's plan for me? And but he gave this sermon on you will not be forgotten, and I think that was like right after we found out we were pregnant with Josiah. And I just remember being like, wow, this is like truth. This is crazy. And I think I kind of wanted to touch on that too, because my first 2 pregnancies, I think that I definitely took for granted a lot. And so when I was pregnant with Josiah, I tried my best to enjoy every single moment. Because I also knew, I was like, I don't want more than 3. I think I'm like 3 is my...
too many gray hairs.
too many things. So I think that when I was pregnant with Josiah, I was like, let's just revel in everything. And when he was a baby, I felt like I took more time to like... He hated me, so it was harder, but I tried to sit and like just love on him and enjoy every minute.
He felt that, so he says, thank you.
He still kind of hates me.
Where's Dad?
He's your guy.
He's my guy. We've said this. He's consistently been my guy.
I know. I worked so hard for that thing, and he just, bye, Mom.
Yeah.
But I hope that like sharing this is encouraging to women out there. If you've gone through something similar to what we have gone through, like, I just hope that this can be encouraging to you to like know that you're not alone, and know that there's still hope. And even if like you're going through a situation that you don't have kids and it's very difficult to see a path forward and like question if you're ever going to have kids, I think that it's opened up this world to me of there's so many routes to being a parent. There's so many like routes that you can take that maybe look different than what's in your mind, but there is really truly a plan for everyone.
And that's the hard answer. It's like maybe the route, maybe it does not lead to having a natural childbirth, you know, but there are other adoptions and things like that. And our prayers for anyone going for that is, you know, God doesn't give you something more than you can handle, you know, and he, you know, search for what he could be teaching you from that, and what doors or opportunities is he trying to show you, and you know what I'm saying?
And I think that like,
and that's sometimes not always what people want to hear,
100%.
You know, so.
And that would be my biggest takeaway from everything. I feel like I can now, you know, it's been what, 3 years, for like 3.5 years since we went through that all, and I think I can finally sit here and say, you know, I think the reason why we went through that was to share, you know, like I think, and I pray that, you know, our loss and our, you know, traumatic experience that we went through could help somebody, and if it can help one woman, one person, one family, you know, I can't be mad about it. I can't have these terrible feelings towards it all anymore.
Totally.
You know, like,
great power comes great responsibility, and you have a power that you can also use responsibly and put out that message, and you know. Yeah.
So it was not a fun time. I did that all without crying. I feel like that's the first time I've ever talked about that without crying.
That's pretty shocking, honestly.
It is pretty I think I was so scared to make you nervous.
I wasn't looking forward to this.
I know.
I kind of blocked it out of my head.
I'm sorry. It's been one that I've wanted to talk about, though, because I do think it's important. I think it's important for everyone to know that your struggles are not just yours. You know, like, there's so many people that can relate and that can help you through situations.
Totally. Well, thanks for sharing.
Hope. There's always hope.
Yeah.
I think about it. It's like kind of a weird thought. Maybe this is like insensitive, but it is this, like, you know, it's hard to picture our life now without Josiah. Like, that's very difficult for me to, like, you know, now I'm going to cry. It's difficult to, like, picture where we would be without him and how much I'm obsessed and love him. You know, that's just, I can't think about it.
Yeah.
He would not be here if it wasn't for everything that happened. And, you know, one day we'll get to meet our baby, and, you know, I don't know if I'm not super up on the Bible, but I believe there's like something about guardian angels. And if I have a guardian angel up there, if we have a guardian angel up there, like, that's awesome.
Don't feel like that's in the Bible. It's more of a secular thing that we've created to make people feel good.
Okay. Well, it's going to make me feel good. I'm just going to say
that.
Same
thing as, like, dogs are not in heaven, but, like...
I still refuse to believe that. You can't take something that wholesome and not put it in the good place.
You know, there's differences, okay?
Yeah.
So, just a little FYI, I know we're really going to get canceled now. Like, talking about abortion, dogs aren't in heaven. Gosh, like,
I'm gonna gloss over the dogs aren't in heaven, because
here we go.
Sully's not waiting for me up there.
No, he is not.
Poor Sully.
No, he is returned to the dust. All right.
Well, thank you for letting me get that out of my brain and into the world, and I hope that it just helps everyone. Somebody.
Kind of a deep conversation. We kind of went into some.
I know.
I
didn't know you were going to go to politics. So what was that about?
Not politics. Well, no, you brought it up because of the differences. Well, it's something that should be said.
It should be.
It is like, and everyone will get all mad about it, but it's like, that's the problem. Like, you're so mad, almost in a weird way. It's like, there's something deeper here than just women's choice, you know, or like, you know, there's anomaly situations, but like, this is clearly the vigor behind it. There's something different there, you know, which again, like, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not even going to say what's right or wrong, but just the vultural or the anger behind that conversation, that political conversation is there's
gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself, people.
There's something else there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, before we say anything else that we're gonna get canceled for, let's stop there.
No, we can't. We're uncancelable.
And cancel.
We're uncancelable.
Cancel.
We don't have any major sponsors. Okay, this is all self-funded. Okay, yeah. We don't work for TLC. We don't work for a corporation. Like,
it's free. Honestly.
Let's go.
What
else do we want to talk about? All right, we got a 2-week break. Tell us your most controversial topics you want to hear from us.
Don't do that. Tell us something fun. Our next episode's got to be something a little more upbeat.
All right, thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. And don't forget that the good Lord loves you. Do your best.
Forget the rest.